guys, long time no see. I'm your host and creator Legio, and we are back at it here in Thunder Bay. My very mediocre attempt at reimagining the Tampa Bay region that's located in Florida. If you end up liking what you see, well then you should do the typical YouTube stuff down below. And if you really like what you see, well then drop some money to me at the Buy Me a Coffee link down below. Nothing is expected, but any sort of engagement and or tips are greatly appreciated. So in today's episode, we finally get around to building the park that I've been going on for about the last month or so. So you don't have to hear about that anymore, you finally get to see it. And we're finally putting the proverbial pen to paper and just getting this thing built. And it's going to be a rather large build. I end up breaking this build into 2 episodes for your viewing ease. Because whenever I was done, there was just a large amount of recordings done, and I didn't want to prattle on for over an hour, because you guys don't deserve that. You're great viewers, so you don't need to be punished in such a horrific manner of listening to me go on for an hour. And I know it's been a little while since I've posted, so sorry to those who do look forward to my episodes. I just got really busy with work and some personal projects. A lot of overtime at work came out, a whole bunch of overtime, and I happen to fill those spots because I like money. Yeah, money's good. And then with the summer coming in, I found myself doing a lot of outdoor projects, such as opening up my pool. I know, first world problems there, but it took a long time. I had to reline the whole thing, so that took a minute. And basically anything else that could keep me away from my computer, I did. And it did keep me away from the computer. So I am a bit behind schedule, but I'm hoping we can catch back up pretty quick. I've got plans in mind for the next couple of episodes, so hopefully I can knock those out quickly and get back to where I'd like to be. We'll see how that goes. But enough of my excuses, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on screen. So we start this build off by first building the landmass that everything's going to sit on. I opt to kind of make like a little bump peninsula, that's what I'm calling it. It's just a little bump that juts out into the water there. Definitely not a natural formation, definitely man-made, but I think it looks nice nonetheless. And I build it using this zonable pedestrian walkway, and then just kind of infilling everything with the terraform tool. And I choose to use that pedestrian pathway because I really like the texturing where the pedestrians walk and the bike path. I think that all looks really good. The only thing I wasn't crazy about with this was the trees that came with it. But that's an easy fix by just using the network skins tool. So I replaced the trees with some royal palms that I found in the workshop, and I fell in love with those palm trees. I think they look fantastic, so I just kind of start slapping those everywhere. And everything on that turned out really good. Like I said in an earlier episode, I really like repurposing vanilla assets, and anything's vanilla to me that comes with DLCs. So really like repurposing those. I love it whenever I'm able to make something that we used to consider not pretty, make it pretty in the game. And then right there I was working on the de facto entrance to the park. Just a main thoroughfare that eventually leads into this split down there and then into a roundabout that feeds into what's going to be the employee parking lot for this building right here off to your left. And I haven't talked about it yet, but that's going to be the science center for the region. Because I think every city needs a science center. I know here in St. Louis we have one. It's a pretty big deal. We're very proud of it. So why not have one in Thunder Bay as well, And I also really like the asset. I don't know the name of that asset. If I remember correctly, it's actually written in Chinese. And I just found it on the workshop, and I wanted to fit it into the city because I thought it'd be great for a science center with the planet Earth and everything sitting there. So I think that looks fantastic. Just really like the look of that asset, so I wanted to get that in. And then the main entrance, I forget the name of the asset I used for that, but I like it as well. When we get a better image, I'll talk about it. But it has that like orange tile roofing that's so common with Spanish builds. You can kind of see it from the angle now. So I thought that'd be a great way to fuse a science center into a Spanish style city, and I think it turned out really good. You can leave your opinions down below if you have one, but yeah, I really like how we fuse those two buildings together. It looks natural to me. You can give your feedback down below, but I think it looks really good. so it's going to stay. And I just go ahead and detail around the Science Center a little bit, because you got to have an attractive space for this kind of area, because you're going to have a whole bunch of tourists and residents coming in, so you want to make sure it's nice and attractive. You don't want anything too hideous sitting there. And then I get bogged down working on this little project of mine with the crosswalk. These are the kind of little projects that I love working on. I just kind of lose myself on building these things. They're very simple, but it's those small little detail projects around the big project that make it come to life for me. I don't think I'm alone in that. I've noticed a few YouTubers, I'll say, they enjoy building the little side projects instead of the big projects. Because, it just makes the area come to life. It doesn't look like much now, but I promise when we get towards the end of the build, that little area just pops. It pops right off the screen, and I just love the way it looks. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to connect the path, give a connection across that road. And I had a bit of a conundrum of I wanted those tiles to butt right up into the path, but not on top of the path. So I used procedural objects to kind of hide them underneath the path. I don't know if that's the best method. I don't know if there's a better way to do that. If there is, please let me know in the comments down below. I haven't found one myself yet. I'm sure there is a better method, and I'm an idiot for not knowing it, but I just haven't seen a better method yet. So please help me out there if you know a skill to bypass all the work I just did there. It also saved me on the procedure object count, because I have a problem in these builds of that PO object limit. I run into that fairly quickly on a lot of stuff. Whenever I was building off screen and wasn't doing YouTube, the last project I hit the building limit, the node limit, and the procedure object limit. And the large city, very big city. But anyways, enough about stuff you can't see. I'm now just kind of working out these little, I'm calling them palm courts, just little green spaces that are just filled with bushes and palm trees, because I thought it looked nice. Also, like I said, I fell in love with using palm trees, because I haven't done a build with palm trees in such a long time, so it feels really fresh to me using palm trees. Now the question is, how many times can I say palm trees in this episode? Keep track. Do a shot every time I say palm trees. You'll probably end up wasted by the end of the episode. But yeah, we just work on these little bit of green spaces here, because I didn't want to have a whole lot of open grass in this park. I didn't want to have a whole lot of open space. I want to maximize the space, but then you have these weird awkward cutouts that you're not going to be able to do anything with anyways. So I just filled it up with trees and some bushes and some grass, and I think it turns out really good. And then right here on this roundabout, I didn't like the grass for the terrain. I like it other places, but here I felt it should have been nice manicured grass. And instead of using the ploppable grass completely, I used a grass network. Used a network multi-tool with the parallel on it, and just filled that space in with nice deep dark grass. I think it looks really good. I thought that turned out great. And then we move on to the northern section of the park. And I'll admit, I wasn't too sure how to work this area. Spent a lot of time just kind of playing around with things. There was a lot of work done off screen and then deleted off screen, because I just wasn't sure how I wanted this to turn out. And what I eventually settled on was building a basin in this area using the terraform line tool, the terraforming network. And I built a little water basin there. And it turns out pretty good. It wasn't what I originally had in mind. Like, it wasn't what I originally thought was going to be there. But we just called an audible and things worked out for us. And we're moving on to working on our second entrance for the Science Center. I really like how this entrance turns out. I like it better than the main entrance over there. This one just looks cleaner, and it lends to how grand that entrance is for the Science Center. Because when we get on street level, you won't see it in the fast play, you'll see it in the cinematics. It looks really big, with the two Earths being up there and that curved brick entrance. Everything looks really good when we get down on street level. Like, it looks like something you could actually see in real life. So I was pretty proud of it. Spent a little time doctoring this area up, making everything look good. The palm trees just look amazing when you get down to street level. All the palm trees I have for this build look great. I'm really happy with them. But you guys probably also noticed I did some key work off screen for a couple reasons. The main reason is I lost my mind and let the camera work get really shoddy. It was really bad camera work. It was really herky, really jerky. It would have given you whiplash to see it. When I was doing the video editing, I noticed it and I'm like, wow, this is really bad. I can't let people see how bad that is. So I go ahead and just to, let you guys skip over that. I didn't want to subject you to it. Also, it's not like key work is the most interesting in the world, so I think you can live with that. But we do take out that secondary water feature, like that little lagoon area. At least that's what I was calling it. We take that out and we're going to be replacing it with something pretty cool here in a second. I think you guys are going to like what we come up with. I know I was happy with it, and I don't want to spoil it till it gets on screen. So yeah, looking forward to your guys' reaction to that. And then I just spent a little bit of time with Move It and the Node controller to touch everything up in this area, because we keep the basin near the Science Center. And I think that turns out really good, especially in the cinematics. So now we're moving on to my favorite part of the build, and that's where we put down this battleship. Or more accurately, the USS Missouri BB-63 battleship. Found it on the workshop, really great asset, you should go check that out. And my thought process here was this ship was going to act as like a living museum, and people could just come see it. And much like its real-life counterpart that's stationed out in Honolulu, Hawaii, I've always found these types of museums the best way for people to connect with history. It really immerses you into what it was like to be there, because you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. You can just experience a small portion of what people living in that time went through, especially something like this, so significant to not just US history, but world history. And y'all know I'm a huge history buff, so of course I like World War II. It's almost mandatory for history nerds. We all have to like World War II. Like when you get to college and you declare that you're a history major, you immediately become fascinated with World War II. I don't make the rules, I just live with them. So, of course, in that vein of thought, this lesson is going to focus on the USS Missouri, which is a very significant battleship in US history. And buckle up, because this one's going to have a lot of dates involved with this lesson, so hopefully I don't bore you to death with it. So the Missouri was built in the Brooklyn Naval Yard and was launched January 29th, 1944. And it is classified as an Iowa-class battleship. And I don't want to get too much into the weeds on the battleship classifications, but the essential rundown for the Iowa class is they were designed to be a fast escort ship for aircraft carriers. And the intention of their design is to exceed over 30 knots, which is roughly 30 to 40 something miles an hour. I'm not a naval person. I didn't serve in the Navy. I'm an Air Force guy, so knots mean nothing to me. But they were designed to intercept or outrun the guns of the Japanese Navy at the time. And the Iowa-class ships were the last battleship designs commissioned by the U.S., with the USS Missouri being the very last battleship ever commissioned. So that's a pretty neat fact. And once the Missouri was ready for action, it was assigned to the Pacific Theater, where it served numerous roles. A few too many for me to cover here, but I'll do the best I can. Its major role at the time was acting as an anti-aircraft vessel during the raids on Tokyo in January of 1945, when it was assigned to Task Force 58, before it eventually went to Iwo Jima to support the ground invasion in February of 1945. In April, the Missouri found itself being the target of kamikaze attacks when two Japanese planes collided with her on separate occasions, but she did manage to remain afloat and only suffer minimal losses. After making repairs, the Missouri found herself in the Battle of Okinawa in May, where she focused her guns primarily on the Japanese airfield to support the troops there. And then she survived a typhoon which damaged other U.S. vessels. The Missouri made her way back to the Japanese main islands and began operations to destroy industry and war-making materials. After the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan finally surrendered and capitulated to the U.S., and the USS Missouri, along with other U.S. vessels, finally sailed into Tokyo Harbor to accept the formal surrender. This happened in late August, but weather prevented the formal signing until September 2nd, 1945, when the Japanese government signed the formal surrender aboard the USS Missouri, which officially marked the end of World War II. Post-war, the Missouri returned to New York to get a refitting and saw itself serve in other various roles. And while other ships were getting scrapped, President Truman refused to let the Missouri go out of commission, opting to keep her online. And the Missouri would see action in the Korean and Gulf Wars respectively, where it served as both a carrier escort and a land bombardment vessel. On March 31st, 1992, she was finally decommissioned at Long Beach when we were doing a massive disarmament with the fall of the Soviet Union. And then finally, in June, on the 22nd, 1995, she was stationed at Ford Island in Honolulu, Hawaii as part of the Pearl Harbor Memorial. And something I found interesting in this is they positioned the bow of the Missouri to face the sunken Arizona, which was lost in the attack of Pearl Harbor back in December 1941, as a ceremonial position to watch over the fallen vessel and her crew. So that's a pretty nice touch. I think that's a really nice sentimental thing they have going on right there. So anyways, that's a quick rundown of the USS Missouri. I'm sure there's going to be someone out there who will point out all the things that I missed, which I know there's a lot. But you know what I say to them is they can just go touch some grass. This is a quick synopsis, but I do suggest you guys go read and or watch the seemingly endless amount of history information on World War II itself. You will see stuff about the USS Missouri out there. And as always, I have references down below, and now back to what I'm doing on screen. So we're just kind of finishing up, putting some of the finishing touches on this platform/dock area I have coming off of the main pedestrian pathway. And it ended up looking like this for a couple reasons. The primary reason is the elevation, as you guys are aware with City Skylines. The elevation of the terrain and the water, that's always difficult to get looking just right. So instead of sitting here trying to fight with the elevation and using the terrain tool and going crazy with everything, I decided to just kind of lower the dock down there to the water, and then use those stairs as a means of getting down there. And then I went into super overthink it mode, where I was like, okay, so we have stairs there, but what about people who can't access the stairs? So then I built an elevator. And then while I was building the elevator, I'm like, well, what if the elevator breaks down, or there's just so many people that it's not feasible? So then I built that ramp. Like, literally, I overthought everything on this, but I don't know, I wanted to include everybody, and I also had a lot of fun building that ramp. Like I said earlier, those stupid little projects are the things I enjoy most in this game. Like, that was so much fun for me to build. And I don't know how realistic it is, and I don't know if you guys enjoy it as much as I did, but I enjoyed building that thing. And then I'm just putting in some concession stands here that if you're down here you can get food or little gifts or whatever. I don't know what they'd sell out of that. It was just a space filler. It's essentially what it was. Off to the left there is another museum. That's actually the boating museum from the base game, I believe, or a DLC, can't remember. But I kind of repurposed it into being a museum for Tampa nautical history, or Thunder Bay nautical history, not Tampa. So any history that has to deal with boats in the Thunder Bay region, that's its history museum. And then right here, I'm just putting in a seafood themed restaurant with a little dock off the end there. I thought that was a nice touch. So thought, if you're going to come down here, if you want something to eat, of course it's going to have to be a nautical themed restaurant. It's not a Red Lobster because they're bankrupt. Think more Bubba Gump shrimp, but a little bit better quality. Nothing against Bubba Gump. They're okay. They're okay. And then I'm just putting in some picnic tables and everything for people to chill at whenever they have food from the concession stands, or if they just want to wait while they're in line getting to the battleship. And I just take some trees with the blocks, and I just kind of purdy everything up here. One of the annoying things is these trees will reset when I load the game sometime. Even when I have the tree anarchy on, they'll still reset themselves. It's kind of annoying and frustrating. Sometimes it loads and they're fine, sometimes it doesn't. It's just the game being itself. But we finished that area up, and then we start moving on. In this little area, I wasn't really too sure what to do with, because it's a small area, and I struggled to figure out what to do, so I delay it by instead of playing with that road and getting everything figured out. What I eventually end up opting to do is I put like a little sand park thing right in here with some palm trees coming in later and then some tables. So if you just want to chill in the sand without being down by the water, it's right there. I don't know if that... I don't know if you'd see this in real life, but I thought it was a neat little touch. Alright, and while I fumbled through the rest of this episode, just kind of bits and piecing everything together, I figured now is a pretty good time to go ahead and read the YouTube comments we got recently, because they made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and I wanted to share the warm and fuzzies with you guys as well. So the first comment we got is from Mr. Mark Anthony, who I think has commented on our channel before. I can't remember, but I'm fairly sure he has. And they said that episode was very enjoyable. Thanks for this. Well, thank you for the comment, sir. I appreciate you. And then the next comment we have here is from Absa DJ, who I know has commented on the channel before. I recognize that name. Stands out. And they say everything is turning out great and they can't wait for the next episode. Well, here is the next episode, and hopefully you still think it's turning out great. I think this is a pretty good episode. A bit different from what other YouTubers do, but I like it, especially when I take the time to detail the areas like I am on the screen right now with the skate park. I think this area turns out really good with the playground and the skate park. I like this area. And then the next one we have here is the one that I really enjoyed. It's from Alapu Gameplays 2647. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And they say the history bits between the builds are actually the main reason they're here. Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoyed today's history bit on the USS Missouri. I enjoy doing those as well. And they say this definitely reminds them of Alcris Altengrad series in that regard. And that's a pretty big compliment to me. I like Alcris as well for two main reasons. He does insanely well detailed builds. He does a detail level I'll never achieve. It's not that I can't. I know I can because I've done it off screen, but it takes me so much time and it's so tedious that I kind of lose my mind. I don't know how he can do what he does with procedural objects, because sometimes that mod just drives me nuts with all the vertices and everything. Not really sure how he does it. But yeah, he's a big influence on me, along with like Jeremy Thunder. I'm trying to strike somewhere in between the two of them, and it's just a work in progress. And then they end the comment by saying, keep moving this side of yours, and I think there will surely be a nice niche of an audience for my videos. And I appreciate that. That made me happy as well. Look at you, making me a happy, happy boy. And I agree with that, actually. I don't have a large audience, and my numbers kind of tanked recently because I didn't post a lot of videos, and I think the subject matter wasn't of interest to a lot of people. And City Skylines 2 has had a lot of movement on its end. So, I don't know. But I do know the audience I have, they're pretty loyal. You guys do watch the videos and you do make the comments. So I think the audience I have is pretty good. I know I'm not big, I'm not a big name in the community, but you guys seem to like me, so I'll take it for what it is. But anyways, I really appreciate the comments. If you want your comment read, you actually have to post one. I'm not so famous that I won't take the time to interact with you guys. I'll always take the time for you. When I'm not working, that is. So yeah, if you enjoyed what you're seeing, please do the typical YouTube stuff down below. It gives me the warm and fuzzies. Anyways, let's get back to what we're doing on screen. And if you're curious about what we're doing, it's a little abstract. We are actually building an open air market right here, because I thought that would be a nice touch for this area. So this is just a place you can come and like buy some farmer's produce, like your vegetables and stuff like that. You know, just your typical open air market stuff. I thought it'd be nice to have in this area. This is mostly for the locals. Like the locals would probably come here more often than the visitors, but this would be something they would put on like the things to do website on Google. So the one end is the open air market, and then down here I just put a whole bunch of food trucks because I like food trucks. I think everybody enjoys a good food truck area. And then we finish it, we kind of just touch this area up with a nice little fountain. And I really like using these fountain props. They're animated, they look awesome. I really like using those. They really touch the area up. Puts a lot of character to the area. It adds motion, which when you can add motion to this game, everything looks so much better. If you can get props and animate everything, everything looks really, really good. And I know there's a mod out there that can do the animated stuff for certain things. I haven't found a way to do it myself. I know it exists, I just haven't taken the time to really research it and figure it out. But yeah, I really like those fountains. You're going to see those come into play in the next episode as well. Not to give anything away, but there will be a pretty sweet water feature we build. And I'm excited to get that episode out. It's not going to follow this one directly. I still have to do the video editing for it because I've been sitting on this. I've been sitting on these episodes for a few weeks now. I just haven't had time to do anything. I've been busy. And it's not like the demand was super high. Like I said, my videos took a bit of a hit, but it is what it is. I'm not making a living off this, so. Anyways, guys, that's more or less the episode for the day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. I'm gonna kind of let the music play it out, and let the cinematics kind of go over everything we did. In the next episode, I'm gonna try to get on street level and do a live play of everything we built. So look forward to that. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a good day.